Happy pre-snow day. Hope you're all getting ready. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but if I could start, if anyone has a mission moment they would like to share. You're always good for one.
Is it on? Okay. I would like, my voice is a little hoarse because I was in the small houses not feeling very well, but I'm much better. I'm not carrying anything.
Hold it that close.
Okay. Jerry and I had a really great experience here the other night. Not that we don't have them. And so did a lot of people who were coming downstairs in the tower on the first floor going to dinner. I had just gotten my new rollator to help me walk easier, and Clarence Holbert had come up that afternoon to set it up, and he was wonderful. The PT person came in and he mentioned, well, it looks okay, but the wheels are on backwards. It could still move, but I said, I'll have to call maintenance and see if they can fix it. Well, just as I don't mean to make this too long, but it's a fabulous story. Just as we were walking downstairs near the post office opening, Clarence comes walking by, and I said, Clarence, I have to get the wheels changed. PT told me the wheels were on backwards. He didn't say a word, and I have since found out he doesn't talk very much. He immediately dropped to the floor, turned over my rollator, changed both wheels while everyone was walking around him going to dinner. If that isn't one of the greatest things that ever happened here, nothing else is.
Thank you. Nothing like expedited service.
I shared this mission moment this morning in Barb's senior staff meeting, and a lot of you may know that one of our beloved team members, Charles Thomas, in Dining Services, passed away on January 5th. And Friday was the service, and a lot of our team members went to the service, either the viewing or the service. And I spoke to Charles's son this morning, and he said he was so touched by how many people came, and it really helped him to see what an impact his father had with Goodwin House Alexandria. He was employed with us for 33 years, so he'll be missed.
Yeah. Thank you, Trish. Anyone else?
A month or so ago, my wife and I were going to go out, went down to the garage, and lo and behold, a dead battery. So I figured I'd call AAA, and then I thought, well, about the truck coming in through the garage and whatever. So I went up to the front desk, and the ladies there said, oh, we can help you with that. And within 5 minutes, somebody came down with a portable charger and cables, went down and started the car. So just to let everybody know that's available, because I had no idea it was. So, good.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Your team's getting lots of accolades. All right. Okay, on our agenda. First off, before I go through the agenda, I would like to start, we have some SECA awards we wanted to give. And the first award that I wanted to give is for a new team member. And our new team member is Michael Frimpong with a SECA award. Michael, you may know, is a driver. We had a hard time getting him here on time because he did a last-minute trip to help a resident. So we thought, oh, he's going to be late for this. But Michael's new to us, fairly new to us, and he got lots and lots of SECA nominations, some from team members, some from residents. So thank you, Michael. I'm glad you made it on time. You want to say something?
No, I'm fine.
Thank you. All right, and we also have for the nominator of the quarter, and again, we don't always go for the person that does the most. We do the person that does more than one, but that's very thoughtful in their nomination, very individual. And the person that wins that is Sam Eccles in Life Enrichment. Come on up, Sam. Would you like to say a few words? It's up to you. You don't have to. No force. The face I got.
No. I didn't expect to get an award.
You don't have to.
Thank you.
Just say thank you. Smile. And you know, Sam's our communications coordinator. And now, for the pin and the big check, for the big, 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 big quarterly winner is Brad Elick. Come on up, Brad. Woo-hoo! You get. Oh, let's get Joaquin. Sorry. Sorry. And I think you all know Brad. He's head of catering and retail. And Brad's fairly new too. Like, don't go anywhere, Joaquin. That's just fake. That's just for show. This is your pin. You can put it on your badge if you want. And I know Joaquin wanted to say a couple words.
So on behalf of the dining services team, I just want to reinforce what everyone thinks about Brad. He has been an inspiration. He has shown us what dining services catering can do. He's met a lot of the residents, and you see him during the holiday parties and the monthly GHA in the living room. So without further ado, we really, really appreciate all the hard work, the dedication, the attention to detail, and he is an asset to our team, which makes our team that much better. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brad. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You want to say anything?
Well, thank you so much, everyone. I was not really expecting this one today, so it's totally a surprise. What I really want to say is that without you, we wouldn't be here. So we really appreciate all of you. I know sometimes days are not as easy as always, but let's push through. We're going to make it happen. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Okay, and the agenda. Let's see. The agenda today, we have Judy Hansen's going to say a couple words, and we have Marty Sudan's going to talk about Encore Learning. Karen Carter's here somewhere. Karen, oh, you're all right in a row. Karen's going to talk about respite care and assisted living. And then we have Sharetta. Oh my gosh, you guys all just about are all in a row. Sharetta is our accounts receivable supervisor, and she is going to explain dining dollars to you. Now, don't scare her. Then Trish is going to go over some turnover statistics I think you'll find fascinating. Andrew's going to go over our fire alarm communication and where we are with our facilities assessment report. And Ken and Polly, all in a row, they have a little treat for you at the very end. Do you want me to tell them what it is? No. It's a little treat at the end. All right. So, does anyone have any rumors or myth busters they would like to go over? We're all so honest here. No rumors. Great. And when you came in here, I just wanted to point out when you entered the auditorium, you probably passed a table with some green team members. So please, they put a lot of effort into the table out there. So when you leave, please do stop by, and talk to them. And it's all in an effort for us to be green and to do the right thing. And I know it's complicated with what's recyclable and what's compostable and what's trash, but I think they and the environmental services committees do a great job with the signage and trying to help educate all of us. So please do stop by. Last two things I wanted to go over is we may be expecting a snowstorm. I think that's pretty certain. So I just wanted to assure you that our team here has met. We feel like we have it covered. I want to thank those residents that have volunteered their apartment. It's easiest for us if we can have our team spend the night so we're assured they're here the next day for their shift. So we're working with our team to make sure they stay, some of them stay Saturday night and possibly Sunday night also. We have flashlights, we have everything going and ready for you. We even have food for you for the whole weekend. So you should do fine. Anna is our manager on duty. She got the short straw this weekend. She's going to be the manager on duty, but I really wanted to encourage all of you on Saturday morning, make sure you start charging your phone, computer, phone, just keep it charged up. In the unlikely event you lose power, you just never know. We don't have control over Mother Nature, so just keep your phone charged up early so you're ready for that. We do have some outlets. They're red outlets that are tied to the emergency generator, but we don't want everyone depending on that. So just please keep everything charged up. And the last thing I wanted to mention is just before coming in here, Chaplain Bruce called me, and I know you're all very curious on how Bruce is doing. We are expecting him now tomorrow. Where's Charity? I just saw her. Yes, tomorrow. Okay. We were hoping he was going to come here today, but now he's saying probably it's likely it's going to be tomorrow. He is going to be on the James, so he will be here for visitors. We likely are going to limit them because Bruce is here to rest. And, he can't have, continual visitation. So we're probably going to limit it, and we'll post it. We'll let you know one way or the other. But this is Bruce. So he called me today, and he's concerned about church services on Sunday because of the snowstorm and that his replacement may not make it. So he's thinking that perhaps he could get up and be okay to come give the service. Oh, I said absolutely no. Unbelievable. Really? I go, absolutely no, you're not doing that. So that's Bruce. But anyways, he sends his regards, and he said that they're blown away how well he's doing, and he really attributes that to all your prayers. So really, I want to thank all you. I know you all love Bruce. We all love Bruce. So thank you, everyone, for your prayers for him. He'll be back. He'll be home soon. Yeah. So Judy.
Good afternoon. A few months ago, I heard a comment through several people that they thought the Residents' Council was like a social club. Don't I wish? So I know we published something in the Gazette, but I really wanted to give you an opportunity to know what your resident council has done in the last year, what we've accomplished on your behalf. First of all, particularly for our newcomers, the resident council has 12 members. We're elected on a staggering basis. Each of the members is appointed as a liaison to our 12 standing committees. Most of those resident council members are already members of those committees, and some are even chairs of the committees. I think one of the things we're most proud of is that we worked with Barbara's support and wrote letters to our senior management about the importance of HCM making presentations on their plans. The first presentation afterwards, if you remember, there were foam boards in the living room, which you were able to look at for several weeks. You had the opportunity to make comments. We took those comments. A small group of us went through all the comments. I drafted a summary, which was approved by the resident council and sent to Rob and Chandra and Scott. And many of those recommendations that you made, you saw come to fruition in the meeting that we had last week, which the resident council had also requested. So we've really tried to be responsive, particularly as we know the next few years we're going to see a lot of changes here at Goodwin House. We also approved changes in the nominating committee and election guidelines to better reflect your preferences. We've hosted cookies and conversations for major guests each month, as well as hosted resident council listens each month, so anyone could come, tell us what your concerns, suggestions are. We have then talked to senior management or tried to resolve them ourselves if we could, and many times we've got back to you. We also talked and approved discussing with Cece, the chair of the Board of Trustees, and the board, the importance of our executive directors being able to attend the meetings on an ex officio basis. And most recently, we requested that the board have a meeting here with all of you, so you could meet the Board of Trustees and perhaps have an opportunity to hear from them and ask some questions. Our last suggestion, or actually recommendation, was that we have a resident representative on the Board of Trustees, and as many of you know, we now do, which is our Reverend Wade. We also requested recently that senior management explore how to protect the residents from the high amount of PFAS in the city water. And we improved informing the residents on a quarterly basis what major decisions we've made at the resident council, and we're now posting the resident council agenda each month about a week before the meeting, so you can see what we're going to be talking about. And of course, you're always welcome to come and observe at the meetings. Your committees have also been very active. As requested by the Health Services Committee and approved by the Resident Council, a new activities assistant was hired. As requested by the Trips and Outings Subcommittee, your Activities Committee, and the Resident Council, a new van was purchased. The Grounds and Landscape Committee are in the process of very carefully developing and planning for future improvements in the woodland garden and on the grounds. A joint dining services and health services task force will be focusing on nutrition guidelines to ensure implementation in the dining offerings. A joint finance and dining services task force will be researching dining dollars, including the pros and cons and potential options for improvement. The communications and health services committees are already improving Uniguest, and the pop-up sessions sponsored by the technology committee continue to be very helpful and very popular. So I would encourage all of you to check out not only your standing committees, but other committees. We always would like new members. We welcome your concerns, your suggestions, information that you can give us, and it's a wonderful way to make friends. Thank you very much.
Guess I'm up. I'll be short, and I'm grateful to be toward the front of this town hall meeting as opposed to at the end. So this is, we have a spring semester about to start, to kick off here very soon for Encore Learning. Most of you are now familiar with that, so I don't need to give you the long tail on that. Let me see if I can get this slide to work. Oh, it does work, good. You may have seen out in there are copies of the latest catalog are out. I don't need to tell you much about what we do, but there are classes. And we have 42 classes this coming semester. There is there will be a preview coming up on the 29th of this month. I'll also have all of this information in the upcoming Gazette. But the preview allows for 3 minutes. Each instructor has 3 minutes to present his case on why his course is interesting to you. And that we'll run it in the residence conference room as well at the time that it's broadcast for Encore Learning. So that's an important point. And then registration will start on the 2nd of February, which is just on the other side of that weekend. And I will be also then in the Fillmore Lounge and help anybody that wants to either, one, register for membership, which, by the way, continues to be free for Encore Learning members, but you got to sign up, and then help with any registration of courses, but also answer questions about the courses. I know most of the instructors. I am an instructor myself, so as a consequence, it'll be a long session and be long as you need to be there. Now, there's also, in addition to classes, we have clubs. I'm not going to talk about those now, but there are several clubs that we have that are very popular. You don't have to pay for those. They're part of membership, and they are usually active either weekly or monthly. And so if you want to think about that, they're advertised within the catalog, but I can talk to you individually if you're interested in any of those. And then we have monthly special events, and those are advertised as well. When you have a membership, you'll get information from Encore Learning about those upcoming events. And my next slide is not showing. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay, so this is what the catalog looks like. There are copies that are available in that corridor that goes to the residence conference room. And so as a consequence, you can pick those up there. I also have copies with me, and Laura Perlari-Welbus, who is our executive director, is with us here today. She's over on that side of the room. And she also has a handout that if you want to go register on your own for membership, there's a couple simple steps to go through, a website link, and all you have to do is type in Goodwin, and it'll bring up a special panel for you then to register if you haven't already registered. And again, Goodwin Living pays for your membership fees. And let's see if I've got this last slide, which is... No, it doesn't. All right, Jennifer, it doesn't work. You got it? And that's the advertisement for that. It looks, the handout, and Laura has those over there. If you'd like to pick one up, you could do this on your own. But at the time of registration, which is the 2nd of February, I will be available to do this even for you if you wish to do that. It only takes minutes to do it. And so that's all I have. I'll be available, and Laura will be available as well after this if you have any kind of questions or you want to pick up catalog or anything like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Karen Carter on the sales team here at Goodwin House Alexandria and Bailey's Crossroads. I've been invited to come today to talk a little bit about a new program that's being, well, it's not even that new, a program that's being implemented for both current residents at Goodwin House Alexandria and for folks who live outside of Goodwin House Alexandria. You can see here on the screen, it's talking about respite care. So for folks who currently live in the community, sometimes you are living with a partner, with a spouse who is leaning on you a little bit. Maybe you need to take a trip somewhere. This is an opportunity for your loved one to go into assisted living for the period of time that you may be gone. This is being introduced at a 30, 60, or 90-day time period. So your person moves to assisted living for that period of time. As well, it's being introduced to the greater community outside of Goodwin House, Alexandria. In my experience, it has been that folks who come into a community for a respite stay, about 75 or 85% of the time will decide to stay on a long-term basis. This is good for when we have apartments and assisted living that folks do not desire to live in. You know, if you know somebody who has moved on to a higher level of care, probably Monica came around and talked to them about needing to move to assisted living, and then assisted living was toured. We find that sometimes those smaller apartments are not as enticing as the larger ones, and they have a tendency to sit vacant for a while. So this program will help us keep those smaller assisted living apartments filled for that short period of time. And of course, folks who currently live in Goodwin House, Alexandria have priority over folks who do not currently live here for moving into this program. So it seems like a win-win situation. Any questions? Oh, yes, sir. Oh.
Bart Goldman, could you address the cost that might be involved with this and how it would impact the person who's a resident? If they're type A, is there a charge for any of this? If they're out in the community, is there a different number? Kind of the overall picture of how that would work?
Sure, and it's a great question. I can address the outside of Goodwin House, Alexandria. So folks coming in from the greater community, a price point of $13,000 a month is what has been decided upon. We are still in conversation about those who are currently living within the community. But we will have that answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Tom?
Does Medicare take care of the small house costs?
No, this is about assisted living, and Medicare does not pay for assisted living. Medicare only pays for the small houses, short-term, up to 100 days. Usually it's far from 100 days, and you have to meet certain criteria, like coming from the hospital. Thank you. Sure.
Hi, over here. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah. This sounds like a sound plan. My concern is that there may be people here who are in independent living who are thinking about moving into assisted living, but there's no room for them there because we have somebody from outside. So my question is, are you coordinating with the social work team before you place someone from outside into one of the apartments so that if there's somebody sort of on the cusp who is here, they won't be shut out?
Yes, you're exactly correct. What you may or may not know is a group that there is a meeting weekly where we keep an eye on folks who may be needing a higher level of care. So it's projected down the road. And absolutely, folks who are currently residents at Goodwin House, Alexandria will receive precedent over those who are not.
If there's not space here, can Bailey's Crossroads vacancies be used and vice versa?
If there is availability, absolutely. Yes.
So you could intermingle the assets. It isn't just GHA and GHA and Bailey's at Bailey's. It could go either place depending on the vacancy.
Well, I feel like you're talking about folks who are currently residents.
Yes,
Yes.
primarily, but is Bailey's also doing this for the community?
Not at this time. They do have respite stay, but this wasn't.
This is GHA only.
Yeah, this is GHA.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
And Sharetta's going to come up and talk about dining dollars. And just because of time's sake, if we could try to stick to the dining dollars and the understanding of dining dollars, and we will take questions with that too. All right.
Joaquin Ramirez, Dining Services Director. I'm going to present the PowerPoint. And if there's any questions towards the end, like Barb said, we'll try to answer them. But everyone here knows about dining dollars. That's something that you are given each and every month. And for each meal, it's $13.50 a day times the number of days in a month. This is an allowance referred to as dining dollars. Dining Dollars program, residents have an allotted spend down account each month. Each food product reduces the available balance. Dining Dollars can be used to buy full meals or a la carte items in the dining room, including the Fillmore Market Lunch program. As everyone's aware of, alcoholic beverages are not included in Dining Dollars and are available at the Fillmore Market. Meal prices from the weekly menu and the Bistro weekly special are for dinner $13.50, lunch $6.50, and for breakfast $4 per resident. Okay. We're on next page. All right. The beginning example will vary according to the number in a month. As an example, for 31 days, it's $421.60. For 30 days, it's $408 flat fee. For 29 days, it's $394.40. For 28 days, it's $38.80. A la carte items are individually priced and charged. They are available in the Bistro and the Fillmore Market. Big point of a contention is the unused dining dollars are not carried over to the next month. Residents may spend over their dining balance. The amount can be charged to your account, which will appear on a monthly statement or paid with cash, credit card, or check. If a resident desires a higher monthly dining dollars balance, 2 additional levels to choose. One, $191.50 additional added to your dining dollars, and $245 charged to your monthly statement as a modified meal plan. $303 additional added to your dining dollars, and $467 charged to your monthly statement as a full meal plan. What is charged on your monthly statement? Extra meals when a resident has spent over the dining dollars balance, the full meal plan of $245, modified meal plan of $467. Absent credit, a resident who is away for 5 or more consecutive days. Questions that were brought up. Size and allocation of a fiscal year 26 budget, personnel, product, and other expenses. What factors go into planning the annual dining budget? GHA dining budget is about 60% staffing expenses, includes benefits and taxes, 2.28% raw food cost expenses. Other dining budget is planned using historical dining financial data to predict future costs, all food prices, staffing, and preparation costs, and expected vendor price changes. These factors are balanced within our overall operating budget to maintain quality, consistency, and value. What percentage or money of a resident monthly fees go towards dining? Dining expenses represent approximately 20% of total resident operating expenses, so roughly 20% of collected from resident fees supports dining services. This is an estimate rather than a separate line item. Fees fund the full range of community operations. Charges for guest meals and extras. How much revenue generated? Guest meals were about $23K for 2025 and $5.5K for November year to date. Additional funding sources. Do our monthly fees cover the monthly annual costs incurred by dining services? Is the cost of a meal actually more than $13.50 a day? How is any difference covered? Profits from guest meals, catering, a GHA/GL subsidy some other way? Yes, resident monthly fees are designed to cover the community's ongoing operating expenses, including dining expenses account for approximately 20% of total resident operating expenses, and our budgeting processes uses historical financial data and projections to ensure that monthly fees collectively support both the monthly and annual costs incurred by dining, along with all other community services. This was a brief overview of the dining dollars. Sometimes it might be a little complicated, but we're trying to make it easier for all the residents to understand. Any questions at this time?
I'm not sure I heard exactly what you said, but if there is a deficit, or even if there isn't a deficit in operating bottom line, does GL kick in something, or what makes up for that? I know it can't be a profit all the time, so who makes up the difference between the deficit and what it needs to be?
Honestly, I can't answer that question, but I can get back to you on that question. I would have to ask my manager.
Well,
I don't know the answer to that question, like who would make
I don't either. I wouldn't ask it.
I'm sorry, I can't answer that question.
But I think it's important to know that some of what we get here is subsidized. We just don't know exactly what it is and how it happens. Because when you look at the financial statements, you see numbers that are below what the goal is, and the difference between that and the goal is provided by some source. I don't know what it is, but I'm glad it's covered.
Yeah, I have to get back to you on that question. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, thank you anyway. But I think it's worth all of us understanding that there is some kind of subsidy in there. We just don't see it. And it's important to know that, because that's value that we're getting, and we may not be paying for it. I'm happy with that. But is that the long-term good thing for the organization? That would be the basic question.
Okay. Sorry
Thank you.
about that.
Okay, you kind of lost me at the beginning when we said it was $13.50 per meal per day, and then the number of the full month for a particular month ended in 60 cents. I don't quite see how that can happen. I think probably there may be some numbers in there that don't add up, and somebody ought to look at that stuff and see.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that question again? I'm sorry, I didn't. Something about.
If you look at the second line there of the money, it says it's $13.50 per residence. But no, go back to the previous slide. Okay, look. If it's $13.50 per day, that means no matter what many days you have, it has to end in 00 or 50, not something 60. That number probably was created back when it used to be $12.60 for a meal instead of $13.50. So you need to make sure your mathematics on this stuff is right.
You're correct as far as the math not adding up exactly. As Joaquin stated in the presentation, we charge $13.50 for a dinner meal, effectively. But when the schedule of fees came out, it clearly reflected $13.60 per day, hence the numbers that you see up there. So somewhere along the line, there was an error, 10 cents per day in the residents' favor. And to make it simple, if you bought one dinner per day, you'd be 10 cents, you'd have 10 cents left over for each of those days.
The slide does say it's an example. It doesn't say it's exact prices.
Look, why don't you just say you're wrong about that and you'll fix it? I have, when I first came here 10 years ago, and I talked to Sterling, the numbers that they had for things like this were just a total wreck. And I had to work with him on the mathematics until finally he figured, oh, the numbers ought to be different. They ought to be a multiple of whatever it was, not a bunch of other stuff. You just got it wrong. Just correct it. That's all.
Well, we will certainly take a look at that, but that would mean lower starting balances for each month if you figure it at $13.50 instead of $13.60.
Couldn't this be easily corrected in Uniguest, in the handbook, in Uniguest, without printing a new page for the handbook? Of course, I don't think printing a new page for the handbook would be that much of a problem. I mean, you print the menu in color, you must have some funds.
Just a point of clarification. If we have $13.50 allocated per day, that generally means that you could have your dinner on your dining dollars, but your lunch or breakfast is going to, if you have it every day, is going to add up to your own additional costs of the month.
That is correct. If you have more than one meal a day, certainly if you have dinner and lunch, you will deplete your dining dollar balance well before the end of your cycle. And everything beyond that would be an out-of-pocket cost with tax applied.
So the rule then is load up with 2 salads at dinner. Thank you.
Joaquin, I know this is still a question among some of the residents. Could you clarify the vouchers each resident has for guests and what guest meals are now costing?
Well, there was a mistake that we made charging a resident an exorbitant amount of money for July 4th. We're looking into that. The guest credits per each residence is 5. So I believe that it's called a guest voucher. It should just be called a guest meal and not get people confused, because people get confused. Guest credit, what does that mean? So we're looking into that verbiage to change it. As far as
just to clarify a little further, the vouchers or credits, whichever terminology you prefer, your first 5 guest meals you can pay for with dining dollars. After that 5th one, then everything becomes an out-of-pocket expense with tax applied. That's what the 5 guest credits are for. And to clarify further, guest credits cannot be used for Sunday brunch or for holidays. And the problem we ran into, the discrepancy, and we would like to fix this. That's wonderful, charging the dinner price for Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving. But on 4th of July, we charged one guest $36 for hot dogs and beans because we were charging a dinner price at the noon meal. Clearly, that's too much. So for those holidays, we're going to talk about charging just the regular meal price and not the holiday. For Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, the bigger holidays where we put out more elaborate meals, we would continue to charge the higher price.
Is there a single source somewhere where we can go and read this and read it a couple times and understand it if we were to forget it, where would that source be?
Your handbook.
Well, but is it updated to what you just said?
Yeah, there is a schedule of fees which gives this very information. Yes, sir.
Where is it again? I know it's in the handbook, but this is kind of an important thing on morale and for people to understand that they're being charged fairly. It may be useful to have it at an easier access point or maybe a one-pager somewhere so that you don't have to dig through a handbook to figure it out. Just a comment. I think I understand what you're saying, but there's going to be a lot of new people behind us that are going to encounter this, and I think we ought to be thinking of the bigger picture, not just this group.
I believe the schedule of fees is posted on Uniguest under Donnie, but if it's not, we can very quickly put that up.
That would be helpful. Thank you very much for listening.
So if I only spend $308 in 30 days, what happens to the extra 100?
It does not roll over. It remains with Goodwin House.
Pardon me? I mean, it goes into the dining budget?
Well, no, it doesn't go into the dining budget directly. I don't know what the right terminology goes into dining revenue. And quite honestly, a lot of times we're asked, well, if I have extra money remaining, why is that needed? And quite honestly, we have fixed costs that we incur regardless of what volume we do on a day-to-day basis. For example, labor, we need a certain minimum amount of labor. Utilities that we use in dining. There's a lot of supplies that we use in dining that we have to have on hand. There's a lot of staple products. I'm just thinking of salt, sugar, flour, just as a few examples that we have to maintain on hand in order to operate, regardless of whether 10 people come to dinner or 1,000.
I'm just wondering, for a guest meal, if, let's say, the typical resident dinner is $13.50, a guest meal is more expensive than that, correct? And if so, how much is it?
That I don't have handy, I'm sorry.
So my understanding is that guest meals cost more than resident meals, even those 5 that are allowed.
That is correct.
But you don't know how much.
Right, but there's no tax applied to it.
But you don't know how much it is.
I don't have it at my fingertips, but I can certainly get back to you on that.
Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right, I plan to make staff turnover a little more exciting than dining dollars. I never thought stats would be, so complicated, but I know that's a tough topic. So, okay, let me move on. Barb thinks that this is a topic that would be of interest to you because I know everybody cares about our team members. And sorry, for those who are new and those, or I have just not met yet, I'm Trish Pavlitz, the Senior Director of Human Resources. And I am a human resources geek, so I'm happy to be sharing this today. First, we'll start with the 2025 turnover. So this will be calendar year. And we can see the numbers here. Total turnover for GHA, 14.79%. Goodwin Living overall, 26.05%. And we do provide specific positions because that tends to have the highest turnover. So what you can see here is that clearly GHA is doing a great job with retaining their team members. So we are doing a lot of things right, which is fabulous. So that's a really good picture right there. And Goodwin Living overall does include all 3 campuses and Goodwin Living Health, formerly community-based home and community-based services. So those are pretty good-looking numbers. And I think when I presented this last time, we talked about the general industry average for turnover can be as high as 80% in senior living. And I have read a few articles and looked at some bureau statistics that say that that turnover in this industry is starting to level off. So I think that means that there's a lot less people looking for jobs, looking to jump. So in one sense, yes, that means we're keeping our team members longer, but it also means there were probably less candidates looking around for jobs. But we have a really good low number of open positions, so we are really well staffed at the moment. Okay, so let's compare last year's turnover just at GHA to this year. You can see, again, total turnover, we went down. That's a big improvement, 4.64% overall at GHA. The turnover for care partners, we went down over 5%. RNs and LPNs down 11.2%. Dining service down 6.3%. Again, we are doing a lot of things right. So I think, really, let's hear a round of applause for what we're doing for our team members. They want to be here. They want to stay. That's great. So this is really, really good news. I did want to share, I'm not going to settle on our laurels and think that this is good enough, because there is an area where we have some improvement to make, and that is with our new hire turnover. So this is fiscal year data that I presented I think 3 or 4 times now, once to the strategy team and again to our general management team. But we average year on year, fiscal year, about 57% turnover looking at those 3 years. That's really high. So that means, to put it in a different way, we're losing about 6 out of every 10 team members within their first 365 days of employment. So that is a challenge that I'm taking on, both in HR and as the co-shepherd for the Talent Advance team. And I'm happy to share that we have hired a new training and development specialist, Jessica Park. Just stand up and wave. So we are going to be working together to not only build out the training function more formally for Goodwin Living, but also to really help the departments focus on what do they need to do to better engage and integrate their new team members, and let's keep more right beyond their first year. So I'm hoping this time next year I'll have a much better looking number for you as far as new hire turnover goes. So any questions? Yes.
Thank you for this data. It's very helpful. Is there an absolute number, average absolute number on the average new hires to get a kind of an idea what the number is, not just the percentage?
I mean, that would vary by campus, or even department. So I guess, sorry, but maybe I'm not understanding.
Well, there's a number associated with that percentage. What would that number be?
Looking at the total number hired?
Yeah. New hires.
Right.
New hires.
So I think total number hired, Rob quoted that at our last meeting. I think it was over like 400, 450, something like that. So, but we're just looking at the percentage of those that left within 365 days of starting.
Percentage of that annual 400.
Yes.
So 240, roughly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So in addition to the numbers, do you do exit interviews or any way to determine why?
Yes, we absolutely do exit interviews. As much as possible, the HR leadership team tries to meet with team members in person. Sometimes we don't find out that they're leaving until they're pretty much out the door. So we also have We Care Connect, which is our satisfaction survey platform. And any voluntary leaver will get a survey to complete within 3 weeks of leaving their last date of employment. So yes, so we do try to gather information. And the reasons that they leave, because I'm sure that's the follow-up question, it varies. A lot of team members, especially if they're PRN, they work other jobs. So they get a job maybe that suits their schedule better. We have a lot of team members that go back to school, which I think is a positive. We also have team members that leave for personal reasons, whether it's balancing family and work, moving out of the area. We've seen a little bit of that lately too. So it is for various reasons. It's not often because of pay. A lot of people think pay is a big driver for retention. It's really not as much attributed to pay. It can even come down to things like maybe not finding an opportunity, that they just finished a certification or a degree in school. In IT, I see this a fair amount. They want to move to the IT team, but we are what's called a position-based organization, so we would need to wait for something to open up, whether that's somebody leaves a position, whether it's promotion, attrition, or as we grow, right? And then that creates an opportunity for more positions to be opened up at different levels too.
You've actually answered a lot of my questions. Is the turnover seasonal?
No, we have not found that. Not that it's directly tied to any one time of the year. We might see a little bit after the calendar year ends. So I'm actually going to look at February, compared to where we were in December too.
But you think a lot of, particularly in dining services, a lot of them look very young. And are they going back to school or? And I know we do have support systems for them to go back to school.
We do. Yeah, I mean, we certainly have our tuition assistance benefit. We have a lot of benefits to support team members. We also have a lot of opportunity for internal growth and development and skills building. We have our Evolving Leaders program, Skillshare Mentoring Network. We have our Career Pathfinder program helping team members learn about other departments and potential opportunities that, they could make a move for and what those positions require. So we do a lot to support our team members to keep them and help them grow and develop both internally and tuition assistance externally.
Trish, you mentioned early in your discussion PRN. What does that acronym stand for?
It's some crazy Latin term, I think, but it basically means on call.
Okay.
So they're not full-time or part-time, but they have different departments might have a different policy where they are required to meet a minimum number of shifts. So in nursing, Jackie, I think it's 4 shifts per month, right? I think 2 have to be on a weekend. So dining services is a little bit different. They need to work at least 1 shift a quarter. The dining servers in particular, they go, what? Pro Renata. That's the Latin term. But sorry, let me just finish the dining services. It's once a quarter because we have a lot of students that come back during college. So if they work Thanksgiving or work Christmas during Christmas break, during summer break, that covers their PRN requirement.
Thank you. You mentioned the number 400 that Rob had mentioned. Does that include Forest Hills, or is that just the 3 campuses here?
I think that number, because I've seen that number, I'm pretty sure it's just Goodwin Living, Northern Virginia.
But Forest Hills comes under the umbrella of Goodwin Living as...
Overall, I mean, they're considered an affiliate property, so they're not really full team members yet. The rehab team is. They were hired into the rehab team. So yes, they are true Goodwin Living employees, but right now they're an affiliate, so everybody else that's not in rehab, they're not quite full employees yet.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm a little deaf, so if I've missed something that's already been said, I apologize in advance. What about environmental services, maintenance and housekeeping? What are their turnover rates?
You didn't miss anything. I did not share those department numbers specifically, only because the nurses, dining servers, care partners tend to be where the highest turnover is industry-wide. I'd be happy to get some data to you as a follow-up.
Thank you.
Yeah, ES is, I think, fairly low, yeah. Anything else? One more, Bart, yeah?
Is there a recruiting source that is a richer source of more permanent employees as opposed to maybe the general advertising of jobs? Is there a place that's better to go to get people?
I don't think the source matters as much as what we do when we have them. And I'm happy to share that referrals have become our #1 source for new hires, and this is going on 2, if not 3 years now. In fact, Jessica told me at orientation today, every single new hire in there was referred by an existing team member, which we love, right? We love friends and family here, right?
Do they tend to stay longer?
Don't know. I mean, maybe anecdotally, I can't say that I have the data to support that, but anecdotally, yeah, I mean, you want to work with people you know and already know and love, right? So, yeah.
Or maybe not. You know.
I know. That's why Rob changed his orientation overview. Instead of saying, think about a family member, because I'm pretty sure there are some family members that, you know, maybe would treat me better than some others. So, yes.
Are the turnover numbers, the new hire turnover numbers, kind of a first-year phenomenon? If we look at second and third-year hires, does that number drop dramatically?
I'm not sure. We haven't looked at it, you know, year 2, 3, and beyond. But you know, I know that Goodwin House Alexandria itself is very good at bringing down the overall average tenure. We have a lot of very tenured team members here, and as you already know, Audrey Keith celebrated 55 years in August. So we'll be honoring her at this year's Service Awards at GHA on the 4th. So we haven't done that breakdown like year on year to see, but yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trish. Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Bob Pabite, Facilities Director, and I promise to keep it brief and get us out of here. I've got some interesting and exciting news to share. A lot of it is going to be precepts from the newsletter that went out on January 9th. We have ongoing commitment here to our safety, reliability, comfort through this community. And we've had some major accomplishments and successful integration of and completion of the overhead garage door. Yeah, let's celebrate that, you know. Thank you. We've also made tremendous progress in building automation systems. And also with our humidification systems, specifically on the humidity system, Tower A is successfully completed. I had some unhappy residents who came by my office, and as they were walking in, the contractor was also walking in the front door. So at the end of the day, everything was able to, we had some successful good news to share. So Tower B, we have a twin system, one right after installation, they both went down, one came back up, went down again. So we just fighting a big battle there in the tower, but right now, I just got a text saying that East Wing is back up. They're still waiting on a part to come back this week for the West Wing. So more to come on that. Same thing with the small houses. Out of 9 units, you've got 7 that's functioning. We got 2 control boards that still didn't fit the one that was sent in. So it's an ongoing battle, but we're doing everything we can to hold these contractors accountable to get some humidity working in here. I want to skip over to talk about PFAS, and then we'll get to fire alarm communication improvements, and that should be it for me. Let's see. So what we are trying to do with the PFAS is we have consulted our engineering firm, PEG, Potomac Energy Group, and what they're doing is trying to give us a study, really show us what the numbers is going to look like if we went to the 2 options we're trying to pursue, which is the point of use, which is in the individual apartment as a filtration system, or coming into a centralized system for the whole facility. There are some ups and downs, pros and cons with either options, and so we want to weigh it all through the engineering and also the cost of installation before we come up with any decision. So more to come on that. Yes, PFAS is the undissolved, non-biodegradable content in water. Technically from polyplastics, which is not degradable, and so it's a byproduct that unfortunately stays in the water and cannot come out through the Alexandria water. I forgot who actually does the water treatment for the city, but it's in our drinking water. But there is a way to mitigate that and also to reduce the impact on daily consumption. I also wanted to touch base on communication with the fire alarm system. We have been, let me read this so I don't get anything, I don't miss anything on here. The new process for incident communication is to enhance transparency and keep residents fully informed. We have implemented a new fire alarm incident information form. This process allows us to gather critical details from both the fire department and our maintenance team after each incident of a fire alarm occurrence. The information collected would include the cause of the alarm, which could be whether it's actual emergency, it's a system malfunction or false alarm. Also, the action taken by the emergency responders, which is the Alexandria Fire Department. Follow-up maintenance or repairs that's required, any resident impacts or safety instructions that needs to go out, including ensuring that an all-clear alarm announcement is also made on time. So this information is internally to help us gather all this information, and also it will be communicated back to the residents within 48 hours by the next business day. So you have all the details you need to know about what actually happened. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you. I promised I was going to keep it short, so all right. Thank you. Oh, okay. Yes, Bart.
Is the PFAS removal system reverse osmosis, or is it something else?
Yes, it's mainly reverse osmosis.
Use the microphone to ask a question, please. Okay. The question was, the system to remove the PFAS from the water, is it primarily reverse osmosis? And Andrew said,
yes.
So, Polly and I are the dessert for this very heavy meal you've enjoyed or not for the last hour and plus. So you all know the British carol, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. Well, what happens when the two partners are split up? And so this is a spoof. If we don't hear you laughing, we're not doing a good job. So it's, the gifts are disposed, and whatever. So, Polly? Here we go.
Laugh.
First day after Christmas, my true love and I had a fight. And so I chopped the pear tree down and burned it just for spite. The thrill of a single cartridge, I shot that blasted partridge. My true love, my true love, my true love gave to me. The second day after Christmas, I pulled on the old rubber gloves and very gently wrung the necks of the turtle doves. My true love, my true love, my true love gave to me. The third day after Christmas, my mother caught the croup. I had to use the 3 French hens to make some chicken soup. The 4 calling birds were a big mistake, for their language was obscene. The 5 gold rings were a bleachly fake, and they turned my fingers green. The 6th day after Christmas, the 6th
laying geese didn't lay. I gave the whole darn gaggle to the ASPCE. On the seventh day, what a mess I found. All 7 of the swimming swans had drowned. My true love, my true love, my true love gave to me. The 7th day after Christmas, before they could suspect, I bundled up the 8 maids a milking, 9 pipers piping, 10 ladies dancing, 11 lords a leaping, 12 drummers drumming. Well, actually, I kept one of the drummers. And sent them up to elect. I wrote my true love, we are through love. And I said in so many words, furthermore, your Christmas gifts